Hey guys, I'm back with another video. We'll be going over Axie Infinity Origin is coming, the notes. We'll be looking over what it means for Axie Infinity, how to prepare, and what to look forward to in Axie Infinity. Let's get on with the video, shall we? Alright, so taking a look at this new Axie Infinity Origins is coming dev notes. Axie Infinity Origins Battles V3 is fast approaching. It will have a brand new interface, game mechanics, art, special effects, storylines, and expansive onboarding experience. Origin has been built from the ground up to more approachable for a mainstream audience. The addition of 3 free starter Axies will make it much easier to recruit your friends and family to join our community. So what this means is there's going to be 3 free starter Axies, meaning anyone can get into the game for free. And if people like the game, they can buy their own Axies and start with their own unique Axies compared to these free starter Axies. There's still final touches being made and not everything is completely finalized yet, so there might be changes to what we describe here. So everything is not final. However, we wanted to share as much as possible while you patiently wait for something to play. Our goal is to begin the game's release process by the end of Q1 2022. However, as we've tried to explain, there are a lot of moving parts involved in this game's release, which might cause delays. Naturally, we want to get Origins out as quickly as we can. So, looks like the game is going to release Q1 at the end of Q1 2022, which is really good news, so that's really soon. If not, hopefully early Q2. Alright, so release plan alpha. We will start with an initial alpha launch of Origin, where we plan to make the game available to everyone globally via Mavis Hub and Android APK. During the alpha launch window, we're looking for player feedback, which will allow us to further refine the game before formal release. There will be no more SLP or AXS rewards available in Origin during the alpha. So what this means is there's not going to be any SLP or AXS during the alpha, but once the full game releases, we will have SLP and AXS rewards available. It also means that V2, which we have right now, which we're all playing right now, is going to be the main source of SLP and AXS until this full game is released. All trainers' progress and resources earned during the alpha window will be reset from trainer accounts before full game launch. Yeah, so everything you do in the alpha will be reset. It's more of just a test phase and getting everyone's... making sure there's not bugs. It's like a test server basically for the alpha. Okay, so Season 0. After the alpha phase, we will launch with Season 0, which will allow us to make more core updates to the game based upon feedback. Depending on how the alpha goes, we may transition SLP earning from Battles V2 into Origin during the season, at which point Battles V2 will be shut down. Otherwise, Battles V2 will be running in parallel until we are ready to transition. Yeah. So what this means is Battles V2 is going to be the main source of SLP until they can transition it into V3. If they can transition it into V3, V2 will be running alongside Origin until we are ready to make SLP from V3. So your Axies. You will be able to use the Axies you own now in Origin. Your Axies are a ticket to all future experiences built in the Axie universe. Infinite games, infinite experiences. That's why it's called Axie Infinity. Awesome. So with this, that means Axie Infinity, we're going to have different games to play, not just Origins. They will be made by other people and developers alike, which will be awesome. Sequential turns. In Origins, Axies will now execute their attacks immediately as cards are played. Opposing trainers will now take sequential turns in using their cards versus choosing them simultaneously at the beginning of a round, as in Battles V2. Trainers will now be in a constant action, either playing their cards or carefully observing their opponent's moves. We believe that this fast-paced new game design is more engaging and provides a greater feeling of control over your Axies, since they spring into action immediately when a card is played. So what this means is we're basically going to have Axies being able to use cards as soon as they draw them. It's not going to be like you play your cards, end your turn, and then just wait for the opponent to play their cards, and then you both go at the same time. It's more of a fast-paced game design, which is more engaging, which will be nice because then everything feels more fluid, more fast-paced, and not like slow and boring, and you're just waiting for your opponent to make a move. So let's take a look at this picture, shall we? So as we can see here, we have cards. I believe these are going to be the cards in your deck. This is the cards in your opponent's deck. This could be energy, I believe. We can see the new animations. They look really nice. We see the new cards. They look really nice. You're going to have a level. I'm not sure what that will do with the game. This also looks to be PvE, not PvP. So it's probably not going to be like this when you're against another player. This is your... I assume this is how many cards. I'm actually not sure what this is. This could be energy, this could be energy, this could be how many cards are in your opponent's hand. We have no idea of knowing until the actual games come out. I can see emotes. Maybe this is a chat. Like you could chat to your opponents now. You can emote to your opponents. end turn. So yeah, everything looks really cool. There's going to be turns, but yeah, I really like the artwork. We'll see where this goes. Reset energy and cards each turn. So unused energy and cards will no longer accumulate across turns by default during battles. So trainers will have less incentive to skip turns and not use up their energy / cards. There will be many mechanics around retaining and acquiring energy cards that will still provide layers of strategic decision making within the game. So if we look at these cards over here, we have Ronin, which we know, but now it does deal 50% more damage per energy spent this turn rather than critting. Tiny Dino, attack 15 damage per turn if retained, max 4 turns. So I assume what retained means is if you keep it in your hand, it'll do 15 damage, and if not, it does the 60. And then we have Kaku, which we've seen before. Target an ally, removes sleep. The next attack of the target this turn deals 60 more damage, which is very interesting. It's like an attack up, but instead of attack up, we have a flat 60 more damage, and it also removes a sleep. That's crazy. That's going to be a really good card, I think. Card changers. For those of you familiar with the V2 Battles experience, most of the cards you know and love have carried over to Origin. However, most cards play differently as they now have either an attack or a defense value rather than carrying both. Some cards that you're familiar with have newly described abilities. However, we try to keep the spirit of the card as consistent as possible. We look forward to seeing your thoughts as you get familiar with all of them. So if we look at these cards over here, we have Robin, summon a little Robin. Not sure what this will do. I think this is like a pet which will attack for you. Telescope, put one aqua card from your draw pile into your hand. This is really nice. This means you get a free card draw and you're guaranteed for it to be an aqua card instead of a random card. So if you have bad RNG like me, you can guarantee that good card draw. And then we have Buzz, which does 25 damage. Deal 25 damage to all enemies. Shuffle 1 daze into your opponent's discard pile. So that's cool. It does 25 damage to all enemies instead of just the one. And then you also shuffle a daze into their deck. This could be a really good card. A lot of cards look really strong right now. We're going to have to see how the meta plays out once this comes out. So eyes and ears. There will be all new cards that relate to an Axie's eyes and ears, so the meta combinations have increased significantly. In the V2 Battles experience, trainers were able to leverage 4 of the Axie's skills, and Origin get ready to leverage all 6 of an Axie's cards. We look forward to seeing trainers discover unique and surprising Axie team compositions. Yeah, so meta won't be formed for quite a bit. I see once the game comes out, everything will be completely new to everyone. We're going to need some time to make the meta, and I will be releasing a video once we figure out that meta to help you guys understand what to play and what shouldn't be played, what should be played, all that fun stuff. And we have all these, I assume, runes and charms. So we have like a plant, a totem, a rocket, and all these just different charms, which will probably be doing different things. Maybe not, maybe they're just visual, I'm not sure yet. Let's read up. So power-ups, runes and charms. Runes and charms are new power-ups we're introducing into Origin. They're equipped by your Axies and provide various buffs, where runes give new passive powers to Axies, charms are wearables that enhance an Axie's inherent abilities. To craft these power-ups, trainers will need to earn off-chain resources called moon shards from winning battles. Runes and charms will be rolled out incrementally. Initially, non-NFT runes and charms can be crafted using moon shards, and over time we will introduce more powerful NFT-based charms and runes, most likely after the alpha window. NFT-based charms and runes will require both SLP and moon shards to craft. This will be one of the initial SLP burning mechanisms incorporated into Origin. So this is really good because we have another way of burning SLP. So that means SLP could possibly start rocketing once Origins comes out, which will be really good because if you have any saved SLP, you could easily make more money. Not financial advice though, so take that with a grain of salt and whether or not that could happen or not. But yeah, this is looking like people who accumulated SLP could be at an advantage at the start. We'll see how it plays out. Hopefully it's not pay to win. Hopefully the game isn't too pay to win. Hopefully card balances are what makes a Axie or a player good instead of just these power-up runes and charms. Hopefully this is just minor stat boosts that don't make the game pay to win. If we look at this here, so epic charm, change ability target to the furthest one. Ooh, so these do things that can change your skills, I guess. Mystic charm, attacks apply silence for 2 turns to the frontmost enemy. Wow, that is very strong. I wonder how silence works. Does that make it so they can't use any cards, or does that can't use any skills? We're gonna have to see how that works. Epic Charm, all teammates gain 1 leaf. Not sure what a leaf does yet. Epic Charm, all teammates gain 1 rage. As you guys know, there is a crit mechanic in the current version of Axie. In version 3, there will be a rage mechanic and no more crits. I personally think this is a really good change, and I'm very excited moving forward. Mystic Charm, attack supply vulnerable for 2 seconds, or for 2 turns. So vulnerable in the current state is, I'm gonna assume it's like fragile, where if you have shield, it does double damage up to the HP bar. An Epic Charm, draw 1 card. This is really good. So charms are gonna be a very big piece into Axie Infinity, because they seem to do very strong stuff that can help change the game and the tide of battle. And it looks like this is just like the beast. You can put one for plant, aquas, reps, all the other classes. So you're gonna have up to 6 charms, it seems like, for every class that you can pick, or you can just make a neutral one. We'll see how that plays out. Each season's runes and charms will be removed from gameplay in the subsequent season, which means the trainers will need to continuously be on the hunt to upgrade their Axie. However, deprecated runes and charms can be disenchanted to harvest back crafting resources. Trainers can also collect runes and charms. There will be some very rare and unique ones. Savvy trainers who obtain splendid collections of legacy runes and charms may be rewarded in the future. Moon shards will also be reset each season, so remember to use them up before the season ends. Yeah, so what this means is moon shards will be reset after each season, so you have to use them in between the seasons. So it's going to look like you're going to have to play the whole season to get the most value out of your moon shards. Otherwise, you're going to be missing out on some charms, because they are also going to be reset after the end of the season. We will see if you're going to be able to place these charms or runes on the marketplace. I'm not sure if it'll be worth more to sell them off or to play them in your own battles. We don't know if they're going to be able to even be sold on the marketplace, so we'll see how that goes. Let's look at these cards here. So you have Shiba. Your team gains 3 rage if this Axie's HP is below 50%. Wow. These are real. I really like how these cards work. Confident, target gains 2 rage, can target an ally. Wow. So you can target yourself, or you can target your allies to gain 2 rage, and that gives you a higher, I think rage is in the way that it powers you up. It could be like a crit though, I'm not exactly sure. And then Imp costs 0 energy in Fury form. And I don't know what Fury form is yet, but also does 65 damage, and a Shiba does 130 damage, and is also a 2 cost now. This is also a 2 cost now, so I don't know how good this will actually be. I wonder how much energy we're gonna get at the start of a game. Critical hits are no longer the rage. Trainers playing V2 battles expressed a lot of concern and frustration around critical hits, as this random element often over influences matches. I highly agree with this, and I'm super excited to see what rage as a mechanic does for the game instead of crits. So we've decided to remove random critical strikes from Origin gameplay. Let's go. However, the game will introduce new above card play mechanics such as rage, which Axies accumulate over the course of the battle. We're excited to see how trainers create new plans and strategies when they attempt to choose the right timing to unleash their Axies rage against the opponents. So what I'm hearing from this is that Axies will be able to store up rage, and then maybe the more rage stacks you have, the more damage they do, kind of like a crit. So say you have 2 rage stacks, you do like 120% damage, 5 rage stacks, you do 150% damage on the next hit. I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but I'm very excited to see how this mechanic works and how it plays out, and especially crits getting removed. I think this is a really good change, and I can't wait for this to happen. Simplified Axie stats. So as you can see, Origin is moving toward a strong focus on a fast turn-based game design. This, combined with all the other additional new mechanics, in many ways makes familiar V2 Axie stats such as speed irrelevant. Therefore, in Origins, Axies now simply have hit points. So it looks like they're going to be completely removing speed. What this means is that IDs and speed isn't going to be as important, which is good, because then there's no pay to win Axies by having a lower ID or stuff like that. All Axies will be made equal, and we'll just see how that plays out once the game comes out. Onboarding. As we can see, there's new like faces and stuff. This is really cool. You have like the aquas, the plants. This guy has like a mustache, and the beasts, they actually look like a beast. This looks like a fox. I really like the game aesthetic, and I'm really excited to see how Origins plays out. This game is I'm so bullish on Axie for B3. Okay, starter Axies. You've already met Bubba. He is one of the numerous starter Axie trainers we'll be able to play when they play the game with completely for free. So it looks like these are going to be the free 3 Axies, and then you're going to be able to buy your own Axies. These starter Axies are not NFTs, and players cannot earn SLP from using them, for now at least. So it looks like these are going to be able to maybe make you levels in adventure or something, but they cannot be used to make SLP. However, trainers will be able to earn access to even more starter Axies as they progress in the PvE adventure mode. So it looks like the more you play PvE, the more Axies you can earn. Not sure if they will be able to make SLP. Doesn't look like it. Players will be able to use these Axies in PvP as well, but if they want to get a larger variety of Axie team compositions, they'll have to pick up some NFT based Axies from the market. So yeah, so you can make Axies for free now. You just have to get higher in adventure, but they may or may not be able to make SLP. I'm not sure. I'm only seeing that these three cannot make SLP, but the ones you make in adventure possibly could make SLP for you, and just the general marketplace of buying Axies. And lastly, tutorials and unlocks. We know a lot of our dedicated players will have no problem picking up the new battle system in Origin. However, we want to make sure Origin is not too overwhelming for your friends and other new players as well. Therefore, successful play in the game will progressively unlock different features in the game, such as trainer progress through the PvE adventure. We've also provided a plethora of tutorials to better explain different parts of the gameplay. Tutorials will be revisited anytime, just in case a trainer wants to review them later. We're so very excited to show you Axie Infinity Origins, and we appreciate everyone's patience as we continue to work tirelessly to put it out on a high quality game for everyone to play. Yeah, so the game looks really good. I'm very excited for Origins, and hopefully the PvE isn't as boring as it is in the current state. I'm sure it'll be a lot better just looking at the animations and stuff, and hopefully land gameplay soon. Lastly, we'll just check out what Jiho made. He made a thread on Twitter, so we'll just go over this and then see what he said, and then that's the video. So Axie Infinity Origins is coming. It'll have brand new interfaces, game mechanics, art, special effects, storylines, and a expansive onboarding experience. What is our release plan? How will new game mechanics work? What will onboarding look like? Which we went over. To be clear, there will still be final touches being made, as not everything is completely finalized. This means there might be changes to what is described. However, in the spirit of transparency, we want to share as much as possible. Release plan. We will start with an initial alpha launch of Origin, where we plan to make the game available to everyone globally via Mavis HUD and the Android APK. Our goal here is to obtain player feedback and refine the game before a formal release, so like a PvE in League or Valorant or something like that, just to test and find all the bugs and player feedback. Because of this, there will be no SLP or Axies rewards, which is fine. We're still going to have version 2 during that time, so that's how we're going to be making SLP and AXS. Trainer progress and resources earned during this window will also be reset. After viewing the feedback from the alpha launch, we will implement any necessary changes and launch with Season 0. Depending on how alpha goes, we may transition SLP earnings from V2 to Origin during the release, which effectively shuts down V2, which is our current way to make SLP and AXS. Otherwise, they will run in parallel until we are able to make SLP and AXS rewarded through V3. New game mechanics. Origin will be bringing new game mechanics, including sequential turns, reset energy and cards, card changes, eyes and ear cards, power-ups, runes and charms, and crit removals and stat simplifications. Sequential turns. Axie will now execute their attacks immediately as the cards are played. The opposing trainers will take sequential turns using their cards rather than both choosing them simultaneously at the start of a round. Since trainers are either playing their cards or carefully observing their opponent's move, they will be more engaged, watching their Axies as they spring into action immediately. Reset energy and cards each turn. Unused energy and cards will no longer accumulate across turns, so there's less incentive to skip turns or not use up energy and cards. However, with many new energy card mechanics and strategic decisions making we all love in Axie Origins, which is really good, which means the better player will always win most of the time, from what I can see on how this new will work. Obviously, card draw is still a factor, but with less RNG like crits, I think the game will be more best player will win most of the time rather than less of the time. Card changes. Most of the cards have carried over to Origin, however they now play differently, having either an attack or defensive value rather than carrying both. So cards will only be an attack or defense card. They cannot be attack and defend at the same time anymore. Eyes and ears. There will now also be new cards that correspond to Axie's eyes and ears. This means the meta combinations have increased significantly, as trainers can now leverage more abilities and create unique and surprising Axie team compositions. Very good. Hopefully we're gonna have very solid team comps, more than just like 5. I know the current meta has like 5. We're gonna want a lot more to make more diversity, and yeah. Power-ups, runes and charms. Runes and charms are new power-ups we're introducing. They're equipped to your Axies and will provide various buffs. As we saw, we could probably equip like 6 of them at a time, but this is just what I see, and I'm not sure if that's going to be final. Runes give new passive powers to Axies, whereas charms and wearables that enhance an Axie's inherent abilities. To craft these power-ups, trainers will need to earn off-chain resources called moon shards from winning battles. Initially, non-NFT runes and charms can be crafted using moon shards. Over time, we'll introduce power NFT-based charms and runes costing both SLP and moon shards. Each season's runes and charms will be removed from gameplay in the new season, meaning that trainers will need to continuously be on the hunt to upgrade their Axies. No more crits. Onboarding, there's free Axies now, and you can earn more as you get further in adventure. Trainers will be able to access more of these starter Axies. Yeah, okay. Tutorials, this is just regular tutorials, and finally Origins. So very excited to see what happens, and can't wait for Axie Origins to come out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment. Let me know what you found interesting, what you're excited for with Origins. And yeah, I stream every day on Twitch, so if you guys want to check me out, twitch.tv/Virgil. I'll see you around. I always give free advice, free coaching, all the other stuff. But have a good one, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.